This one you actually seen something like this before that I drew, and you know, if you have like the head up here somewhere, and you kind of have this, you know, think about the spine, you know, here, then you have like the part of the buttocks that are facing us here, and I'm going to kind of do it like this. And so you have the middle section here of the crotch area, and still you want to keep that underside, like that when you look under at a figure, because we're kind of looking, you know, under at it. Anyway, it's kind of hard to explain it without, you know, if you don't understand anatomy yet. Again, you're doing yourself a disfavor by not learning it. So if you don't learn it from my anatomy course, learn it somewhere. And you can fudge anatomy so much, but you want to learn the basics of it before you start fudging it. We'll give her really thin legs, and they're going to come down this way, and then we'll be able to see the bottom of the calf and leg here, and the leg will come off this way, and just do whatever we want it to do. And then this leg, it's kind of cute if you kind of pull legs together and then pull them off like that, you know. And then the, you know, foot would be doing whatever. And so I'm going to kind of have the buttocks coming down like that into the leg. And then you'd have the crotch in here, and she'd have like some sort of, you know, pants on or bikini, because you're not going to have her nude. Showing some of her hip there. And then that's going to be all blocking everything else. And then all you're going to see here, actually, I'm going to have her head really close to her, because instead what I'm going to do, and we'll have her kind of facing like this, looking at us. What I'm going to do here is all this right here, the angle we're viewing this at, is blocking everything else. We can't see anything else. Okay, so we can't see anything else. And let's see her. All we're going to see is a little bit of her. I might have to, you know, I'm going to draw her head last, because I know where I want her shoulder coming up to about here. I'm just trying to think how much you can actually see of her body or not, and not see of her body. And then her shoulder can actually turn into part of her shoulder blade, then kind of come down and curve like that. And then actually I might even want it curved more in, because I want the buttocks to be covering. Okay, let's go ahead and reshape all this actually. I'm getting too like sketchy and sloppy here, and I kind of want to just be more smooth with my lines here as I'm sketching. I should be, I think, zoomed in and smaller to make it easier on myself. But then this would be her panties, and then like G-strings, let's say. So if there's G-strings, like you just go like that, and you'll be able to see most everything else. That comes down to that buttock there. That's come up to her part of her hip bone. And then let's see here, make sure that we're showing this leg is overlapping by erasing any other underdrawing there really quick. And let's see here, so we're kind of, you know, she's laying on her side, right? And so from here we know all of her torso attached here. We know from this right here, her torso comes up. You know, how much of it you can see, that's where you're trying to figure out how much is being blocked, how much is being seen. And so I'm going to draw her shoulder right about here. Just draw a circle for now. Draw her arm coming down. And might even come shorter. And show part of this, you know, this arm here. Coming across, and it's doing whatever. Probably a little longer than have the hand. Okay, so yeah, that's starting to work out. And these are all the things you want to kind of think about. And then this, I'm gonna have her shoulder now come off into her shoulder blade over here. And I just want, you know, I want that to be kind of subtle, not too hard, and come down to the curve of her back here, and just kind of subtly flow that into her shoulder. That's coming to her arm, and then I'm going to show her tricep here. Comes down like that. And then, you know, here's where you can cover part of her chin. have that kind of cute look where part of the chin's being covered, and then maybe she's kind of looking off that way, that direction over there. And you know, you give her whatever kind of hair you want, doesn't really matter. We give her some bangs here and then just some side hair. Doesn't really matter. I'm not really thinking about too much about the hair. Then, you know, her breasts, so you gotta think about how much her breasts, and if her breasts are being propped up on the side or not on the bed, if there's a pillow there, you know, all that. These are things you can think about that will change the shape of the breast. And it's being viewed from the side view. Obviously, you just want to have that bigger nipples. We're not gonna make them that huge. Kind of give them more of a natural shape too, something more like that. And then I can, you know, choose what kind of clothes I want to put her in. She can just be in like bra and panties, whatever. Like she's like, you know, getting down and getting ready to go to sleep or something. She's just kind of standing here, you know, laying there. So it's kind of a situational thing where we caught her in the situation of doing something, whatever that might be, reading or studying or whatever. She's like looking over here like, oh, something caught her attention as she's like studying. Maybe she has her book here or something she's reading, or whatever she's doing. She has her laptop here, notebook. You know, she was like chatting to her boyfriend or something, and oh, someone came in and caught her, and maybe she has this kind of look on her face, you know, that kind of surprise look on her face, like, oh, I got caught with something. That's another kind of way to draw something bending over. There's so many different ways to draw, you know, a female bending over. These next ones we can just draw like really, you know, zoom in and just draw like really quick thumbnails. I notice being zoomed in makes it much easier. So if we kind of have the head here, make them really small, and this is like, I think it's good to draw really small too, because it'll help you kind of figure out, okay, do I want to draw this pose at all? Have the arm coming down, so come across this way. Draw her spine and really arch it here, and so we're going to have her bending over, but it's going to be like sort of a, not quite a 3/4. You know, we're going to be able to see a little bit at the buttock over there, so it's going to be at, you know, a slight angle, but it's very little of it we're going to be able to see. They come up here, and then we're going to be able to see a little bit of the other back shoulder over there, and that arm's going to be doing, you know, whatever it does. And it might come up this way here, maybe her hand's on a wall, and this hand's maybe come across this way, and so we see some of her. Actually, I don't know if I want her arm there, because then it's covering her breast. I think I want to be able to see her breast from this pose. I'm trying to think about that shape of the hips coming up there, and then the leg which comes across that hip and love handle. And I'm trying not to pay attention. I'm getting too much caught up into the anatomy, and that's what I'm trying not to do. I should have just done this, you know, very quick and using basic shapes to get this across, and have this leg come down here, and maybe even have it to where more like her legs are more open, so more like that. And this is, you know, being foreshortened coming at us, let's say, then her foot. This foot here is more like that, and then it comes more down, so you can see more of it. Right, so she's on this kind of, you know, think about the plane that she's on here. So this is another way, kind of a creative way to draw her bending over, but I don't like this right here because it's blocking what I want to show. So instead I might have her delta, which starts from way back here, come up here, and this arm's going to be coming up, maybe come across like this, and it's more like, oh no, I'm pinned against the wall, and this is like the wall over here. And then we can have, you know, do something interesting with the breasts, where the breasts are kind of being smashed against the wall like that. And of course, you know, that's like some giganto breast, but we wouldn't see that much of her breast, actually, to be honest. Some of it's going to be blocked by her arm, so some of the breast will draw blocked by the arm, and the other part like that. So our breasts are being smashed. We want to get that across. We won't be able to see any nipples or anything. So this is all wall, and that comes down to right about here. So she's really close to the wall, and all that plane is the wall right there. And so she's putting herself against the wall. And then maybe you can try to turn her head, you know, to where she's looking at us, and then see some of her neck right here. but you know, then have her hair, and her hair can come across and block some of this here, but I don't know if you want it to, so you might have her hair up in some kind of, you know, pigtails. No, maybe just have it up in a bun or something, I don't know, to get out of the way. So, or some short haircut or something like that. Because I kind of want to show that arm over there in that part. Get the idea though. So doing quick sketches like that, this arm would actually be longer. Coming out over here more. I think I was trying not to block the other. Thumbs would be on the inside, by the way. This one would too. I had it drawn on the outside, but it should be on the inside. Just little things you forget about sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, just quick thing, and that's like another way of, and kind of inventive way to have someone bending over and really pull this buttock here up and around. Right, there's tons of ways, like I said, we can draw people bending over. Get given these emails coming up. Before I continue drawing, a couple more drawings here for this lesson, I just wanted to go over some principles here that I wasn't really talking about. So when you're drawing, what things to keep in mind is with this here, you're really trying to emphasize this arch of the back here, and the actually would start, you know, right around here. You want to emphasize the arch of the spine, emphasize these dimples maybe, you know, and then you can have like, you know, some sort of, you know, G-string on or something. It just depends on, and this is where you got to decide, you know, how do you want it to be considered raunchy. Maybe show a little bit, you know, more underpanties here. You can have it more to where it's like this, and you know, you can actually more like a swimsuit and have little ties here. That's kind of sexy. So, you know, think about how much of the body you want to show off, you know, to not consider too raunchy. But the thing that I'm considering in this, as I draw it out, and what am I trying to show? What about it makes it sexy? What am I trying to emphasize? I'm really trying to emphasize this curve of the back here, because this curve right here can be sexy. The thing I'm trying to emphasize is the upside down heart. This upside down heart here is really sexy. And notice I don't have her weight on her butt, so I can really show this heart shape here of her butt. Whether if she was sitting on the ground, I'd have to flatten that out, and so now it changes it to like more shape like that. But even that can be sexy, you know, her sitting on something like that. And then, you know, having her feet like this turn, and then I can have high heels, which would kind of be turning at me. That can be kind of difficult to draw in perspective, but nonetheless, I can still do it. And then that one, but maybe not. Maybe have her in socks, because I don't want to cover up this shape here. And so I really want to emphasize all that buttocks, and so I can have her feet going underneath her butt. And then she has, you know, socks on, let's say. Maybe she has ankle socks on. I want to make that ankle obviously a lot shorter, and then I can, anyway, I would draw more of her actual dynamics of her feet and everything with the socks, because you can see quite a bit of the dynamics. But that's the two main things I'm emphasizing for the sexiness, is this curve here, which follows her spine. I'm really emphasizing that curve right there. This is why I have the arm out here, so that I don't block that curve. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's what I was thinking of. The place on my arm, the reason why I chose to place the arm back here, and then, you know, not come down so far, so I really wanted to show this here. To show that even more, I can also change this pose even more, and maybe have this arm, you know, pointing up and doing something like this, and then maybe her wrist is kind of down like that, and, you know, she has some kind of cute gesture with her hands, or she's holding a pencil up, or holding a cigarette up. It just really depends on the message that you're trying to show. In this case, you'd see part of the back of her elbow here. Anyway, so if I had her arm up like that, then show her deltoid a little bit, and the latissimus coming into, or yeah, part into the breast there. Then what I can really emphasize is her love handles here, and that's really sexy. So, you know, whenever you have this kind of view, you have a rib cage and coming like that, and then you have that love handle. I think the rib cage and love handle right here crunching up, love handle overlapping the rib cage. That right there is a really sexy look. So having an arm going up and doing something, anything, or even coming up over her head might be even better. So have her arm kind of coming out this way, but then coming out this way over here. And she's like, you know, oh, kind of cute. This you can kind of turn to kind of something cute. It's not like I don't like to promote smoking of cigarettes. I know some people find that, you know, kind of pinup, kind of sexy and attractive. You know, when women smoking, some people have that kind of fetish, but I don't like to support it at all. So my personal thing. So what I'm going to do is I can have her holding something like bubbles or something, and she has a little bubble thing out here that she's holding, and she's blowing bubbles. You know, and that adds like some cuteness to the pose. But these are principles I'm thinking about. I'm thinking I want to show the breast, I want to show the buttocks, that curvature of the buttocks, that upside down W shape, because we find that we tend to find that alluring or attractive. I want to show the extension here and the crunching on this side, so I really want to show this C shape here. Then I want to show the overlapping of the love handles here. Love handles can be, I think, can be really sexy when you show them on a female in certain positions, and so that makes that pose kind of sexy. And I can actually turn that into something. I can actually keep some of these little sketches and turn them into a kind of a cool pinup from this course. You might actually see this one day in the future on my DeviantArt account, and might even see me do a video of me drawing from this and turning it into an actual pinup drawing. But yeah, so anyway, what I was thinking about with this here, what I want to do again is I wanted to show kind of a side view and an upskirt shot, you know, which can be provocative, and maybe too provocative might be considered smut by some, might be pushing the boundaries a little bit too much, and so you might want to put her in something other than like panties. You know, maybe she's in you know, short 90 shorts or something like that come to here and like down here, and you know, therefore don't really show too much, and they can have like ruffles on them or something like that. You know, you don't want to be too granny or anything either, so maybe they're not that. Maybe either down here more, like she has spandex tight shorts on, and you can kind of see some of the definition through here, through this tight spandex shorts, and I would, you know, obviously remove some of that definition, and that can be kind of cool. So maybe she's in some spandex shorts, or even spandex knee highs down here. That could be kind of sexy and cute. But the main thing I'm thinking of is I want to show the curvature of the hip here. That's sexy, and I want it to overlap everything else of the body, and the only other part of the body I want to see is her just kind of cute sexiness of her shoulder, covering her part of her chin or face, because I find that cute, and then her breast here. And so I think this would fit more into a cute, oh my gosh, you know, her face is like all like, you know, kind of surprised, and her eyes are a little bit surprised. She's looking over here. We don't really see who it is. Maybe you can even put a door over here and have it opening, and you know, someone's coming and they're peering through, whatever. Oops. And they're you know, they're opening the door and they're peering through, and it's like her dad or something, or mom. But you can just have it off screen, and that'd be enough, because usually pinup is just one character. It's enough that she's looking, and you can see that someone interrupted what she was doing on here. Maybe her finger's on like a cancel button or something on the mouse or something, or on the keyboard, and, you know, trying to get rid of something that she had up here on the screen, and you can draw it, you know, X through or something to show that it's kind of disappearing or being hidden or trying to hide. Even show what's on the screen. Maybe she hasn't had time to hide it. So that's the thinking process, and that's, you know, what you're trying to show. And here, you know, overlapping of legs is often sexy, where you have one knee overlapping the other knee. That can be sexy too. So that's one principle I was keeping in mind as I was doing this. And I might even have this leg completely off camera and only have that one in, you know, in the view. But, you know, get the idea. This here, you know, I talked about smashing of the breast. It can be sexy. So I'm like, okay, how can I smash the breast and stick the butt out? So covering two principles in one, or two rules in one, you know, of sexiness, to have breast smashed and have butt showing. So here I have the curvature. I can even curve her back more here and show less of the body. So show more overlapping like I do here. So there's more missing of the body. So you wouldn't be able to see as much of the body, and I actually think that'd be more proper anyway, more correct. I don't think you'd see as much of the body because this is overlapping it some, and so something like that. And so now she's like, you know, oh, you know, pressed against the wall. Like you can give a situation for why she's pressed against the wall, because just having her pressed against the wall might not be enough. You know, it's like, why is she pressing herself against the wall? Is like she purposely trying to be slutty, and that might come across wrong. So if you try to make it situational, it makes more sense. You know, like maybe, you know, this one you can have like part of an arm coming into, okay, this is the end of the frame here. You can have just the end of an arm coming in here with like a gun or something, you know, pointing at her. And so now you know why she's being, you know, someone's forcing her to make that type of thing. But the main principles I was thinking about here to keep sexiness is breast squished, butt showing. And that was pretty much the only two things I was keeping, and then the curvature of the back a little bit. Those are the main rules I was thinking about when doing that pose. So I think about these rules, as I call them, and those rules are based on those underlining fundamental principles. You know, of course, you can have the typical, just like kind of more side view, you know, coming down where you have this kind of swoosh here, and you have the, you know, the buttocks coming somewhere in this area, and the shoulder, you know, somewhere in this area, and the shoulder can come, the arm can come back, and, you know, arm come down onto the buttock, or, you know, behind the buttock or whatever, even right on it. The arm can come forward. When the arm comes forward, it's going to be blocking some of the breast, so you might want to come forward a lot like that. That way you can show more of this breast as it comes down here. You have this kind of, you know, side view of the rib cage as it comes down here into the area here, and then we have the breasts are going to be coming, you know, down, especially if they have natural breasts. They're going to be kind of gravity's forcing them down here. And if the body is all turned toward us, if this upper body is all turned towards us, we'll see some of the other breasts there as well. It'll be like that if so. There's this angle to it. If not, then, you know, we might only see a little bit of it, if any of it at all, if it's a total side view. If it's a total side view, this here is the top of the form, and then, you know, you have the neck somewhere over here, and then you have scapula in the back. It all comes back right here. You have the buttock, and then you have the legs, you know, coming through, and they're going to be going in front. And I don't know what you want the legs to be doing. What I want the legs to be doing, they're going to be coming forward like this, and then coming up, you know, that way. So we're seeing, you know, I'm drawing through the character here to where the calf is behind, and then we just see a little bit of it, and we see the foot coming off over there. And actually the foot, the calf would be a lot shorter than that. It'd be any more right about here. And that would be the foot area in this here, like this. And, you know, kind of have the toes curled up can be kind of sexy too. That's another thing. Keep in mind, cuteness and sexiness. And then the other leg, you might be able to see it a little bit. It's gonna, you know, be back further because of, you know, of the perspective space. I'm not going to get into a lot of that. I'm really, you know, expecting you to already understand those fundamentals about drawing, and I'm more focusing on, you know, how do we get into the sexiness of it. I might not want to emphasize that too much. Make her ass too huge. I don't like this nib. I lost my felt nib, and I'm left with the smooth one. I haven't used a smooth one in so many years. I'm not used to it. It's like hard to sketch the way I usually sketch, which is a lot more cleaner. I can, you know, try to go slower and sketch, but anyway, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Right, so something like that, you know, so you have this kind of bent over, and then her arms coming out, doing whatever it's doing over here. This arm can also go forward. You know, this arm now is obviously, and you know, this can be the same arm, or this can be the back arm. In case it can be just, you know, back a little bit further, it's the back arm, and then it'll be in the other buttock. But in this case, we got rid of the arm altogether. We decided to bring it forward instead of backwards. If you bring it down more like this, you can kind of push on the chest a little bit. And so then you can, you know, push this breast out, and it kind of shapes the breast a little bit more. And anyway, you can do it like that if you wanted to. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. I'm running out of space here, and that's, you know, just a quick idea. It's not something I really want to keep. And then, of course, one more just really quick sketch. Again, kind of that side view look. You can, you know, start with that spine, kind of come down, kind of come more straight. This is counting for part of the neck too, and the head. So the head's, you know, fitting somewhere up here, and maybe the, you know, the head's kind of tilted upwards a little bit, and then the neck's kind of coming down here, and then you have, like, you know, shoulder blade coming up, and then shoulder right about here, and this is going to come down And maybe her arms going to kind of come out this way, and hands going to be hanging over something, and then this will be whatever her arms on, some kind of pillar or something. And then, you know, you'd have her breasts coming down this way. And then her rib cage. And all this right here is coming to this kind of point here. And then you have, I think about, from the side view, I kind of view this, this is what I think about. I'm going to draw what I'm thinking about. I think about this shape right here, and it's usually a lot closer though. But I think about this kind of shape right here. That's because that represents kind of like the hips, you know. And anyway, you usually only draw part of the hip right here from the side view, and it comes down like this. And that forms right into the leg. And so I'm going to have the other part of the back leg here, because the front side of the leg is longer. Then have her kneecap, and then, I don't know, her calf, and her legs come out this way, doing whatever. And then this is where you're going to draw some of her buttock here, kind of round it out. And you might be able to see a little bit of her other leg. Other leg can be coming out this way. Like so. And that's like a, you know, side view of bending over. So you can get, you know, the most simplistic, and you can still add interest, you know, with a side view. This would be like the rib cage in that area. So I imagine the rib cage and the hips, that's the two things from the side view. And again, you'll see, like, you'd either see it in a, like I said, anatomy course that you've already taken, or if you've taken my anatomy course, you'll know what I'm talking about there. I know that probably annoys some people because they're like, oh, I feel like he's trying to get me to buy another one of his courses, but I'm really not. You know, it's not. I'm just saying it's prerequisite knowledge that you should have, you know, when taking this course, because I'm not trying to teach all that stuff. You know, it'd be too big of a course. I'm just trying to teach you how to draw pinups, how to draw sexy women in pinups, and those principles that apply. And so it's a more slightly more advanced course in that there's prerequisite knowledge that you need. You need to know how to draw the figure pretty well. You need to know anatomy pretty well and things like that. So it doesn't necessarily it has to be my course that you took. It could be any course you took or any book you learned it from, as long as you learned the principles somehow. It doesn't matter how you learned them. You know, again, taking this course is like, if you don't understand anatomy or anything like that, taking this course is like trying to take algebra without first learning your basic arithmetics, which is like the foundations of math. You know, your multiplication, your division, your addition, and your subtraction. Without knowing that kind of stuff, how are you going to get into algebra at all? You know, you need to know fractions and stuff like that too. Otherwise, algebra is going to be really hard to teach you, because you have to teach those fundamentals first. And so the teacher will be like, oh, wait a minute, I can't just teach you this. I need to teach you all the fundamentals before I teach you all this kind of stuff. So main things I'm thinking about in this pose, and this pose is actually quite boring, but it gets the idea across of a woman bending over. But I just want to show like how you can make it boring. And so how do you fix it? Well, what do you think about? Well, one thing to think about is you think about the, you know, curve of the back. So one thing we can do to fix this a little bit without hopefully redrawing much, I don't want to take too much more time here on this particular lesson, is, well, I'm going to have to just redraw it, I think. But so yeah, let's go ahead and just redraw it. What the hell? We want to kind of pull this down more and then kind of arch it up more like this. And so now maybe her head's more here, and maybe it's still facing up like that. And now we're really then we can have the shoulder here. it's coming down, and you can still have that same thing like that if you wanted to, and have it hanging off and have some sort of pillar here. That's something you can still do. You wouldn't see as much of her breast in this angle. Her head's quite large. Tone that down a bit. Anyway, this isn't coming out right. I'm trying to draw it too fast, but you're really just trying to emphasize that arch in the back there, and then pulling her shoulder up more here. So I'm pulling her shoulder up more, like so. You wouldn't see as much of the shoulder blade. Having the head up and tilted back, and then you can have hair. You can have short hair, like this. So that way it's not blocking much. Have it coming out like that. Have it kind of like messy hair, covering a lot of her face, but still has. You can see some of her chin or her lips. And sometimes that adds like, interesting kind of mystery. Like sometimes mystery is enough to carry interest through. Slightly smaller butt here, pull it down, and then maybe we can add more interest to all this here by pulling. See, let's go ahead and pull this leg forward more, so now our butt is kind of just coming right into her thigh. That whole roundness right there, that can add a lot of interest to the drawing. She's on her tippy toe there. That will flex her legs more, kind of adds interest. And then maybe that back leg can just kind of be going, back this way and kind of straight. And then, doing whatever back there. Notice that having that kind of S curve right there. Boom. In fact, I want to draw that in red. Having that kind of curve right there, in fact I want to draw it big. Bam, that curve right there adds, I believe, a lot more interest to this basic drawing we had before. Now suddenly this leg being pulled straight is in opposition to this nice curvature flow here, and then her hand kind of hanging off here, limply, stiff arm, limp hand, so you have stiffness with fluidity, and it kind of flows together in this kind of messy hair, doing its own little thing is really cool too. Anyway, so I think that takes that pose, and so that was some of the thought process, and hopefully that helps. When you think about these thought processes, I want to do a few more of these videos like that where we take some of these basic poses, do a few different ways, those basic principles I went over in this video at the very beginning, take those basic ideas and try to bring them through a few times like this, like we did the bending over pose, and the arching the back, and maybe we'll do a few more of that, but we'll do some more of the other poses as well, like popping the breast out, and those principles I went over. I want to kind of emphasize those more with some sketches. That way we get the ideas across, my thought process. That way, hopefully this will transfer to you and how you think about it and your thought process of it as well. And then after we do a few of those sketches, we're going to get into more of like hand gestures and feet and in hair. We'll do a refresher, just kind of like we did a quick refresher of the human body. I'll do a quick refresher of the hair, the basic principles of hair, how you have the front part of your hair, which is considered the bangs, and then you have the back part of your hair, and then you have basically the underside part of your hair. But you can really just break it down into two parts. You have, if you separate it from the cowlick in the center of your head, you have the back part of your hair that connects that cowlick, and you have all the front part of your hair that connects that cowlick. And then, of course, the side of your hair doesn't really connect to that cowlick. It grows out of the side of your hair. But yeah, and that bowl that goes all around like a bald man, right? So just quickly to give an idea, so you have a head here, let's say. I'm drawing my pins a little too small there. And so you have his ears or whatever, right? Okay, so you have this top crown of the head here. And at the very top here is the cowlick. And so you have right here, the side of the head, you know, some bald people, they'll have hair only here, like that. And then from the side view, you know, if you have your ear here, that hair, you know, goes all the way around to the back. They still have all the back of their hair. They're just missing that whole top part of their hair. And then from the back view, you know, that hair comes all the way around. You know, here's the ears, and it comes down into, you know, the actual shape of the head, like that. But they're missing all the top part. And this cowlick here has hairs going out of it. Basically, you can think about it overlapping the back of the hair, that back. So you have that. That's one piece of the hair is right there. That, think of the clown bald man, right? The typical bald man with the no hair on the top. That's one piece of your hair. That covers the, you know, the side of your hair and the back of your hair. And then you have this top part that grows out of the cowlick if you have long hair. And if it's not as long, you know, it just comes down to like here, let's say, you know, more of a boy, you know, it's a boy haircut. Or it can come all the way down. It's a long girl's haircut, but that's the back part of the hair. Then you have the front part. The front part is the bangs, and typically girls, you know, sometimes will cut, not typically, but sometimes the girls will cut their bangs, and so their bangs just come down here, and, you know, especially in manga, they have the bangs. That's the front part that comes off the front part of the cowlick. They can also just, you know, style it to that front part of the hair that initially comes to that cowlick. It also stems from the actual hairline here, and I think they can pull all that up, pull it up and back and style it up like this, you know, and they can curl it, whatever, or they can, you know, pull all this hair up and back and have it up into a bun up here or something like that. They can also have it to where they have it split down the center or split to the side, and you have, you know, one hair, that top, this is all from that top bang going this way. This is all from, you know, this top area here as well. And so here, all this hair is coming down and forward, right? Or sorry, that's the back hair. This is the front. Sorry about that. This is the middle, and so all this hair is coming, you know, in the front area here, in the side, but it's all stemming from this top part of the head, and also from this hairline, and then the other part is coming down this way, and so they have like this, and that's just the front hair, and then you have the back hair, and the back hair you can see from the back. You know, you can see a little bit of the back of the hair from the front view. And so the back, and that, you know, so anyway, so I'm gonna do, that's pretty much actually it. I might do a little bit more, I'm gonna do a little bit more in-depth refresher of hair, but there's only so many places the hair can grow out of, and if you know that and know the mechanics of hair, kind of how hair follows gravity and stuff, then it's kind of pretty easy to draw hair. But what we'll mainly be getting to, besides the refresher of hair, is like the hairstyles, mainly like how to draw certain hairstyles, and how those hairstyles, you know, can fit the you know, the genre we're going for, the pinup genre. You know, pigtails can work, some messy hairstyles can work, wet hairstyles can work, you know, old 50s hairstyles can work, a bob haircut can work, you know, so there's a lot of different kind of, you know, curly, nice hairstyle that can work. So there's a lot of different hairstyles that can work, but you really want to be conscious of where the hair is. You don't want like hair necessarily covering a shoulder if that's what you're trying to accentuate in the pose. Like, I wouldn't want her hair, you know, coming forward and covering the shoulder right here. That'd be ridiculous, because it's covering the sensuality that I'm trying to achieve with the shoulder. And so I don't want the hair there. I want to make sure the hair is coming behind her and coming behind the shoulder. So think about, you know, here I had the hair blowing in the wind. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to cover the essential parts here and this curvature here, you know, that curve right there. I didn't want to cover that. So if I would have had the hair just hanging down like gravity would have it, hanging down, it would have covered that essential part of the drawing. And I could have gave her, you know, short little cut like that, like some 50s haircut, and that could have been her haircut right there. Then I could have showed some sexiness of her neck as well. And so there's things I didn't want to think of. So there's times you might want to put the hair up in a bun, or, you know, put it up in some sort of fashion if you want to show off the neck, because the neck could be quite sexy and sensual. So So those are things we'll think about when we're doing the hair. And then, with hands, hand gestures are usually want to be elegant, usually kind of a slight angle of the hand, either a side view of the hand, that is kind of elegant and maybe shows a little bit of the underside of the hand here, some of these fingers, or it shows a little bit of the top part of the hand, come out this way. Oops. Like that, and being foreshortened. So those are the typical angles of the hand that are going to be pretty elegant. Usually you're not going to have like a total front view or bottom view of the hand, because that's not going to be as elegant. Usually a slight side, either a total side view or a slight down angle, up angle, like I just talked about, of the hand. And then feet are typically going to be in high heels, or some of the kind of sexy shoe. We'll do a little bit of shoe, just how shoes kind of fit, the type of shoes we're going to be drawing in sock stuff, and we'll do a quick foot refresher, very, very quick foot refresher. Again, if you really want to get down into that, you want my anatomy course or some other tutorial, something out there on feet, you want to learn feet. And then just kind of how the shoes kind of fit onto the feet, and just a quick fresher of shoes. And then of course of clothing in general. Clothing will be kind of a big part of the tutorial, because we'll go back actually and revisit some of these poses and sketches, and maybe put certain clothing on them, like this one here. I definitely want to do something with it, put some sort of clothing on it and make it thematic with the bubbles, her blowing bubbles. But yeah, so clothing kind of fits the theme, and we're gonna probably have a pretty lengthy area of, we're going to do a quick refresher of clothing, how it kind of wrinkles, how wrinkles work in general, typically where the wrinkles will happen on the body with clothing. And when we're drawing our different poses, we'll put clothing on them. And then that will, we'll pretty much go back and put clothing on every sketch I think we did. I'll just end up saving all these so we have them. And we'll put the clothing on all of them to show like how different clothing would work. And I might do a couple different outfits on those characters to show how the clothing will bend and warp and wrinkle and stuff, and how different clothing could work in a pose. And so it'll be hands, hair, clothing, feet, and then of course the rest of the course will just be dedicated to finalizing some images, taking some poses to a final image, like starting out with the sketch, like how I kind of did the sketch over here, and then I refined it and fixed it with the principles in mind, taking those rules in mind and kind of and refining it. We can take this sketch and and turn it to a final drawing, and put the clothes on and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll get into a little bit about rendering pinups. So there's several different ways to render pinups. I'll just go through a couple quick ways. You can some fast ways, like some cartoon ways to render, and then some quick painterly type ways to render. Another way of rendering is kind of used in a lot of like Marvel comics. It's kind of a very advanced cell shading kind of rendering, and it's also kind of used a little bit in it's like a mix between cell shading and painting. Anyway, it's used in like the latest Grand Theft Auto 5 cover, kind of like that kind of stuff. So yeah, this course is covering quite a bit of information. It's it's more than just a pinup course. At least you're gaining a lot more knowledge out of it than that. You're gaining other types of knowledge too. But I just want to make sure that if this is the only course you buy, you have rudimentary knowledge of at least the human figure and stuff. You'll be able to run away and be able to draw pinups for fun and stuff, and hopefully even for money. That is, there's actually ways to make money in this, and I'll also go through that too. I'll throw in a free bonus video that will be how you can make money doing this, where you can go online and different ways you can go about making money doing pinups. All right, cool. So that ends this lesson. Thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, I think this lesson, I forgot that Udemy likes me to break my things up in nice little 40-minute packages. They let me get away with it before because my courses do so well, even with long videos, but they prefer it being 40 minutes or less. And so I'm going to have to probably break this up. So you're not going to realize it until just now that I'm talking about it, but the previous part might seem to like cut off suddenly and like end suddenly without me saying, oh, that's the end of the lesson, or unless I just kind of put something quickly when I break it up. All right, cool. Anyway, thanks for watching.